Now, this is a really fun part where we get to hear a few pitches, and then we get to have some comments from our expert investors up here. And we would like also for all of you to weigh in because we are going to be naming the best pitch. There are only 3, so please just bear with us a little while. I'd like to welcome Alexis Wong from Moby Juice to come up and give her a pitch. And we're going to be starting the clock. The countdown is over here on the wall. She's got 3 minutes. So Alexis, take it away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I decided since I only have 3 minutes, I broke it down to what, where, when, and how, and why. So what is Moby Juice? What is it? On the front end, it is a on-demand, on-the-go, shared mobile charging platform. On the back, it is data analytics combined with business intelligence, creating an ecosystem between retailers and consumers. How? We combine the interface between Uber and OpenRice. I use those because it's easily relatable. So that it is based on your basically based on your location. At any time you open our app, when you're down to that 5 or 10% in crisis mode, and you find out the closest place where you can find one of these guys. You pick it up, take it wherever you need to go. When you're done, you start the app, and we find out where's the closest place to return. Our partners include all the retailers, shopping malls, points of interest, and that would be close to all the MTR stations or high traffic locations. How do we make money? 2 ways, B2C. So our users who use these, they pay us by every 30 minutes or day passes. It's a top-up model. So in order to use it, they top up their account in our e-wallet. There's no deposit required, but there is top-up required. In terms of the B2B side, obviously, it's because there are many touch points between retailers and consumers. In order to use the app, you see that just like OpenRice, you actually have areas where retailers or the ultimate venues will have ways to market not only their venue but also their services based on targeted customers. And how do we target? It's because when they sign up on the app, there's already a lot of information in public domain, social media, through all the different areas, combining with their in-app activities as well as their geo-data. So out of that, we compile very useful and relevant and also real-time profiling so that, for example, Napoleon and I are standing in the same corner. We have a way to direct him to a certain venue versus me that we have the highest probability to convert into a consumer while we're there collecting our lifeline.
10 seconds.
So the where is we started in Hong Kong, and our goal is to be APAC-wide. And so far, we already confirmed 500 venues. We already started making revenue, pre-launch. We have a few thousand download apps, and 60% converted into e-wallet setup, and 6% user rate already. And that's before we launched. We're officially launching today.
Okay, good. All right, judges.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Congratulations on your launch today.
Thank you.
Geoffrey Handley from Haitao Capital.
Hi, Geoffrey.
Just wanted to ask you quickly, from my perspective, anything in the shared space, the issue is not so much about how to generate revenue, but how to protect your asset. And so how do you protect your asset? You don't have a deposit. You've made the registration process seem very, very simple. What's to stop me from walking away with this, and what's to stop everyone from walking away with those, and you constantly have to figure out more CapEx to fund little boxes, which are also a redundant cost because of depreciation and declining returns anyway.
Great question. So 2 ways. That's the beauty about IoT, right? So in terms of the hardware itself, it has a lock mechanism that's built in. everything sends signals to our back-end server. So we know exactly when you scan the code, when the battery can be released. So if you walk up to a juice box, you can't just take one. Once you take it, how do we protect it? Well, the only way for you to use it is if you have a credit card tie-in. So by means of not charging deposit, but if you keep our battery for more than 24 hours, we do have an automatic top-up for you to help you load up your account. It's not a deposit. It stays in your e-wallet, so you can still use it as credit. But if you decide you like it so much because that orange is just so nice, thank you very much. You can keep it, and we will debit $129 from your account, which is still very, very reasonable for the quality of the product that we have.
Okay, another question? Anyone? Another question? No, it doesn't have to go down the line, just whoever has the next question. A burning question.
Chris Fisher with Click Ventures. Just so I'm clear, so you have to install some software on your phone to use this. I'm just curious, and you're also taking revenue on both sides. So you're taking it essentially from the person who's charging their phone, and then potentially on the data side, as you've harvested this data. What's to stop somebody from competing with you by just having one of these, but just selling it, say, to the retail stores and things like that, with no consumer side?
So again, the whole basis of shared economy is if you can share or rent, why buy, right? So a lot of people say, oh, I have a power bank. Well, we've done enough studies, and also I think just even with the small early traction we have, there's a need. From our studies, 84% of the people, regardless if they have power bank, they need to use a charging mechanism, but without an option. So the notion of buying one when you need it is the antithesis of what we're trying to do, so that people don't have to buy it when you need it. You can just rent it, finish, return. So that's kind of the basis. Now, of course, in terms of competition, there's always going to be the next hardware. So we don't consider us as a hardware play. We really consider ourselves as a platform play that creates an ecosystem with our retailers. So if you look at those that are partnering with us, they include some of the biggest developers, some of the biggest chain retailers that have multiple locations across Hong Kong, convenience stores of the like. The reason why that's powerful is because the ecosystem's already formed. And so by them of recognizing what kind of users might use, because of that, they're walking in my door. And now, not only are they walking in my door, which is the most expensive part of advertising, now you have them physically there. How do I convert them into a consumer? And that's where the app actually becomes interesting, is that before they step through the door, it becomes predictive marketing, so that we identify who they are first, and we have the ability to push the right messages to the right people beforehand.
Okay, thank you, Alexis. Appreciate it. Round of applause for Alexis. All right. And we will come back for final comments from all the judges, too, on all three of these. Neel Patel from Zio-Health. Neel, come up. And drum roll, please. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Neel from Zio-Health. So, are you doing everything you can to optimize your health and the health of your family? People die when they shouldn't die. Diseases spread when they shouldn't spread. And people get sick when they shouldn't get sick. The vast majority of us have an appalling way of managing our own health. We eat rubbish, we don't exercise, and we expect to live until we're 100. Doctors like myself have access to hospital technology to know exactly what's going on in your body. But healthcare institutions simply lack the resources, the time, and the money to give everyone access and keep everyone on track. So at Ziya Health, we've developed technology that senses different parameters in different bodily fluids, such as blood, saliva, breast milk, and urine. And using this technology, we developed the Zio Home Health Hub, which is a body fluid analyzer for the home. This will give users the chance to optimize their health through personalized dietary and exercise advice. So basically how it works is you would choose the cartridges that is specific to the range of parameters you want to test. You would put your sample into the cartridge. The cartridge is then inserted into the hardware device. The hardware device then analyzes the results and sends it to your software app. And the software app displays the results and gives you advice on the next step, whether it's dietary or exercise advice or even a remote connection to your doctor. So most recently, we have filed a provisional patent and also been through Hacks Accelerator, which is through SOSV. And using this Zio Home Health Hub, we've developed milk-safe cartridges, which are basically breast milk analysis cartridges for our initial market, which is China. And this is to give mothers confidence that pollution and unhealthy diets does not contaminate their breast milk quality, but also give mothers the option to optimize their breast milk nutrient content through personalized dietary advice. So our initial market is Guangdong province, and this is because it's the wealthiest province in China, where mothers already spend excessive amounts of money traveling abroad or on baby nutrition in general. Our business model includes 4 revenue streams. One is the one-off cost for a hardware device, and also a subscription revenue for the cartridges itself, and also B2B data, and also the Zio marketplace. Finally, our team consists of Shalin, who's a PhD in biosensors. There's Matthew, who has a PhD in microfluidics, and there's also Yu, who has a PhD in nanotechnology and biosensors, and also Rory, who's a mechanical engineer with experience in R&D process for medical devices. And finally, myself, a medical doctor with an MBA as well. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. And under 3 minutes, too. Thank you. Bonnie?
Question. So when are you launching? And then 2 is, what distribution channels are you looking for?
So we're launching in August 2018, and we're looking into 2 distribution channels at the moment, which are both e-commerce websites. One has asked for exclusivity based in China, but we haven't finalized that.
Congratulations, by the way. What's the biggest hurdle that you see, and not a boring standard answer, but the biggest hurdle that you see from China perspective, day-to-day hurdle, and what's the biggest macro factor behind you?
Well, I think the biggest issue for us, we are a United Kingdom registered company, and we are selling potentially what could be a medical device in the future. The breast milk device is not classified as a medical device, so we can enter the market. We also do have Shalin, who is a Chinese citizen, so that does give us access to the market, but then again, we are still registered in the UK, so that does could affect us.
Congratulations again. Any specific reason you started here in Hong Kong and China?
Yeah, so we basically, Shalin had, basically we developed a technology to sense different parameters in different body fluids, and then Shalin, when we were in the UK, he had a baby in China with his wife in Guangzhou, and they experienced a lack of support for breastfeeding, and there was no confidence that the breast milk was of optimal quality for their child. And then when we came here, we went through SOSV's Hacks Accelerator, and our mentors at Hacks and all the people we've met since basically advised us to do breast milk first. So, yeah. And there's also the business side. The business strategy is also great for doing breast milk first.
Okay, we have one more pitch to go before our reception. We're going to have some very nice drinks and appetizers for everyone. So one more pitch to go. And we would like to welcome to the stage, thank you, Neel, very much. We'd like to welcome to the stage Luc Micaelli from Overhand.
Thank you. I'll be quick so we can all get to dinner. So my name is Luc. I'm the founder of Overhand Fitness, which is, in essence, is tech-enhanced group class. And maybe I should say fun-enhanced group class. So we are a B2B sports tech company. We target gyms. And the gyms we talk to have well-known challenges. They're talking about growth, how to attract new members. They're talking about retention, how to keep them, and quality, how to offer great quality content. The answers to these has always been group fitness. Group fitness is the #1 reason why people choose a gym. Number one reason why they go back to that gym, and number one reason why they invite their friends to the gym. And so our focus is how do we look at the trends out there and we make group fitness uniquely better. And we do that with technology. So Overhand Fitness uses a wall screen to make training interactive. It's a full body interactive workout. And then we gamify the training using fitness trackers. So if you come to our classes, we will give you fitness trackers that are going to measure all the movements you do in the class. And so now we can gamify the training. We can do blue team versus red team, right? Add some competition into it. You can have social contests, and at the end, obviously you retain all of your data. Yes, so for the judges, I'm sorry, maybe there's a mirror. All right. Thank you.
Good.
Right. So how do we help gyms?
Can you go back to the master slide, please, so everybody knows who you are?
It's right there.
Thank you.
So how do we help gyms? Growth, right? We have this awesome product, people want to talk about it. Retention, we actually gamify the whole training experience, both offline and online. That means people are offered incentive to go back to the gym, earn points, unlock achievements, things like that. And finally, quality. We design the content and then we certify coaches to teach it. So our business model is to offer gyms a yearly subscription, and we do have a leasing model on the screens as well. We do make it affordable, and we do that because we have secondary revenue channels. That's coaches certification, freemium on the B2C side, people who are using our online platform, and as well a couple others like merchandising. If I have 20 seconds, I'll add that we have an awesome team. We have great strategic investors, and we're currently fundraising. And I look forward to the question. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Any questions for Luc?
Yeah, congratulations. This was a cool video.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity in that space, and there's been a lot of money raised over the last couple of years for guys like ClassPass, Guava Pass, that kind of thing. There's essentially you're enhancing the experience.
That's right.
What unfair advantage do you have? I mean, like what stands out?
So a couple answers to that questions. First of all, we have awesome strategic investors. So an investor from Guava Pass invested in us. So that opens us a network of already 1,000 gyms across Asia, 15 cities in Asia. Second of all, we really either you have tech class, and it's usually super expensive. So all of it 1 million RMB. Les Mills probably $1 million. We actually, because we are a software company at heart, we make it more affordable with this strategy on revenue. So that would be the unfair advantage. How do we defend our position is through data. Network effects, gyms can compete with each others. You can find your friends on the online platform and follow them, things like that.
Moment, what's your charging model?
So charging model is, if you're a gym, we charge you yearly for leasing, for renting equipment, like the fitness trackers. They look like this, by the way. And also for a licensing of our content. Like this, yeah. So you were 2 during the class. Sure.
What's the annual fee? What's the annual fee?
The annual fee is around 50,000 RMB. Yeah.
Per gym?
Per gym.
For how many?
For 1 year. Oh, it depends actually on it's between 8 and 18 people. So double that for the trackers. Yeah, and we have a leasing model on the screens where we actually can only use a wall screen. And that's why we need some capital to kind of fuel that model. Thanks a lot. Any other question?
And how many gyms are you at the moment?
So we're now in our first gym, getting great feedback and adding to our content. We want to get to at least 6 classes before we start moving on to other gyms. And that will happen also when we close our round. That will allow us to actually fuel that growth.
What's your distribution strategy? I mean, how do you plan to expand the number of gyms?
Yeah, great question. So in China, we're going to work with a local gym distributor because they have all the connections, all the guanxi. They have 10,000 clients. They have people on the ground. They can talk to the clients. They can handle. I want to focus on the product, right? I want to have them focus on just talking to the customer, sending a contract, do the maintenance, things like that. So that's the strategy. Later on in the US, it will be the same thing. And we still want to do some offline marketing, but also use our resources like the Guava Pass network to fuel the growth.
Why China first?
Well, China, I mean, so first of all, I guess that's more personal. I started boxing in Shanghai. And so originally this company was a boxing tracker. So we built all the algorithms and then we thought, actually, this could open a much bigger market on the B2B side. So all my network was there. And I find China just much easier when you have some tech component. Just it's much quicker to prototype. Yeah, and for me, it was a lot easier to get the team and get the early seed funding last year to get to where we are today.
Hey, let's bring up the other two founders and get some
Thank you very
comments
much.
overall. Just stay up here, Luc. And let's bring Alexis back up and Neel back up here and face the judges. And I'd like to get kind of your overall comments of the three of them in terms of their presentation, their pitch. What did they miss? What did they score high on? Just in general, some comments about how they did.
I think first of all, I feel like I should thank you because based on what the earlier group said, we should be pitching to you guys. Right. I think a couple comments. One is with healthcare, because I do have a pharmaceutical distribution background. A lot of the times it's not about the product in China. China distribution is a bitch. So sorry about my language.
It's a very technical term.
Sorry, Rebecca. So I would love to learn more as you progress of how you're solving distribution. Meaning, do you really want to go B2C directly? Or do you want to look at what channels newborn mothers are in? Things like Zhongxing, where it's very popular in China. It may be your target segment because these guys are spending 10K to 20K RMB per month to be at that center for the first month after they gave birth. So those could be potential, additional channels B2B you can look at distribution that could get you in with higher volume and traction in the beginning.
Yeah, actually, first of all, thank you very much for your presentations. Actually, I enjoyed all three of the presentations, and our fund, we're actually very focused on data type companies that generate data. So all three actually were very relevant to the kind of things we invest in. And again, I really could actually spend quite a bit of time with each team. I think it's really good and interesting ideas, a nice broad selection of ideas as well. My main feedback on Juicebox, which I actually think is quite an interesting idea. I feel a little bit the model is a little bit complicated. I think that there's a lot of value just in that data and having that available in a store. I almost would think about something very simple, like maybe having a ring fence type approach around the store, and then only charging the store. So as long as you're in a city super or whatever, then you can sit there and use the charger as long as you're shopping. They know where you are, where you travel in the store. You could do that kind of thing. Not to say, I mean, we'll see how your model goes. It could also work on both sides. But I would just consider some very simple strategy like that and just focus on one customer as opposed to two.
Also echoing the other judges, thank you for presenting today. It was great to hear what you guys are up to. General comment, I think Luc, including a video is a good idea. It's like really simple. You guys have clips anyway, so playing that for 30 seconds would have made things a lot easier for us to understand for both your guys' models as well. My fund is an early stage fund, but we're driven by macro, so the big drivers of the country, so you all three fit there as well. I think on your side of things, I completely agree. Having one customer instead of a million is probably the smartest way to go. But also, if you just look at all the stuff that's been written or said about the shared economy, in their top three biggest pain in the ass is the cost of acquiring customers. And so if you don't have to acquire me as a user and you're acquiring that retail outlet or the mall or whatever anyway, just bundle it in there. I'd say that would make sense. Sorry, I forgot your name. Neel? Neel, your business, first of all, your team sounds like on paper pretty amazing, right? Like 4 PhDs, an MBA, and a couple of masters and stuff. Like that's pretty insane. That's a high caliber team. I wouldn't mind meeting you guys at some point just to get an idea of what it looks like to have four young PhDs that are not from China in China. Halfton, but it's pretty impressive. I'd like to find out more about why breast milk. Your answer earlier on was that that's what we were told. That's, if I'm honest, that's a pretty crappy answer, right? Like the answer should be because you know why the answer is, and it was reinforced by someone else. But I'd also like to know what's next. Like what are the other things? And are they aligned to macro, or are they just because the current data shows something? There's a huge opportunity there. But also, I think I wouldn't be able to word it better than you, Ronnie, about distribution in China. But yeah, she's right. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, actually, I wrote it down. I literally wrote it down, a quote, and I'll publish it somewhere. Distribution is a bitch.
Going on Twitter.
500. Yeah.
Weibo.
It is hard. So working that out would be interesting. Some of the companies in my portfolio are in your space, and the insurance route, the large insurance companies, that's an obvious one. Well, maybe it's not an obvious one, I don't know, but that's a useful one. And that industry is maturing very quickly in China, so making those relationships early, even before you're ready, are important. Luc, yeah, pretty interesting. It's the video, like I said, really helped. The alignment with the big guys like Guava Pass, also really interesting. So I don't really have much more on that. I like the fact that you said, what did you say? You said that we are at heart a software company. It's cool. You know exactly what you are. And I think that's great to have that solid feeling inside. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you for the feedback.
I just want to, it's hard to follow that up, so I'm just going to get a historical perspective. I've been in Hong Kong for 9 years and in the ecosystem for a while as well. And just looking at how the progression of the quality of the teams, the founders is really amazing. So kudos to Rebecca in bringing you guys in. I'm generally not a fan of pitch events or pitch sessions because it puts you guys at a disadvantage. You have 3 minutes. It's a big audience. Are they really your investors? How important are they? Would you rather not work on the product and your team back in your office? But just being able to see you guys at such an early stage because of Rebecca's platform has been great. And I will not give personal feedback on stage. I'd love to, though, connect with each one of you offline.
All right. So looking at the audience, of these three, let's just have an applause meter for each three. I'm going to really put you guys on the spot now. Alexis, a round of applause. Okay. Neel. And finally, Luc. Wow. So who do you think of those three? They seem kind of close to me. It's a tie. What did you think? Okay, let's have a tiebreaker up here. Each one of you pick one. Okay, everybody gets one. They were all good. They were all terrific,
I'm all
right?
about supply and demand. So I think next day they're going to rank us. So I'm not going to. I love everything.
Okay. It looks like we're not going to be handing out a prize tonight. So let's just go down to drinks. Let's go for drinks. All right, and appetizers downstairs, right downstairs, one floor down. And meantime, I'm going to consult with the judges up here, and we will come up with a prize. So thank you.